In our next video of the Better Photography Weekly Challenge, we will be discussing the winners and honorable mention of a contest Portraiture. Our judge and mentor is Madhavan Palanisamy. Based in Chennai, Madhavan uses photography to interpret the strange beauty around us. It helps him to lift the veil of what can be seen with the naked eye to reveal something profound or playful, or both. It encourages Madhavan to ask the questions such as who are we, where do we come from, why are we here, and how are we connected. Besides photography, his practice also brings together various arts forms that he loves, such as writing, drawing, and moving images. He has won the Lens Culture Black and White 2019 award, and his work has been featured in GUP, Photofilmic, GARNL, Lens Culture, From Better Photography, WU, and Liberation Farms. Hello.
Hi. Thank you so much for the nice introduction. Work has not been featured in Foam yet. I would love to be there, but the editor of Foam, Elsa, picked up my story for journal. So
Okay.
that way, I think I put it as shortlisted by or chosen by Elsa. She's someone I have great regard for. And thank you so much for this opportunity. It's a great window to interact with other photographers across India and with a magazine which really is out there to help people better their skills and techniques, and as well as understanding about art, etc. So it was a pleasure interacting with you and the images, and the way that I also like the way that you have gone about putting together and also facilitating this whole exercise, and it's great to have two minds work at it. So thanks to you. To go into the
Yeah, so as you've seen a number of entries and then you've chosen the top 12, I would like to know what were your thoughts about whatever you saw on like in its entirety.
Yeah, first I was very interested in seeing the whole thing, because I think there were a lot of entries, and though some are nice in a predictable way and predictable in a nice way, that's because I think when you actually assemble the contest ideas, when you say portraiture and when you say near and dear, and you show a set of examples and inspiration, I think there is people are drawn to that work, and then they are coming into it. But what is surprising is the real the documentary aspect of photography and portraiture and documenting near and dear ones at this time is also, it transforms into a certain fantasy at times. That's that's an interesting meeting point, which I'm very fascinated by, and there are a lot of surprising and beautiful dramatic images that way, quiet images that way. So it's like it was very good looking at these and learning some things, and also all of us send work to competitions and other curators, and your work will get selected based on who the curator is, what their visual sense of history is, what they're looking for, especially what their work is involved in. Plus, how nicely you are capturing something that is going on around you. So in that way, I would like to tell people that some entries, though, in terms of photography, they're great. They're not here at all. Because, I have seen it from what I would like and what I will see. Like the way my work gets rejected or my work gets shortlisted, depending on who chooses it. So that's like a thing that everybody should understand who is applying. So that doesn't mean that if your work is winning or in the shortlist or it's not featuring, doesn't mean it's good or bad. It just means that that you have not found the right a curator yet, or a nice place yet. So go on, and meaning there is not a single entry that I thought was bad at all. So it's like, so everything was good. It's just that I just thought, okay, these are the images that I would like to make. These images that speaks to me. So let me just take some of these. So that was my thought around this.
Okay. Let's have a look at the winner.
Sure, let me share this. I think there is a lot of honorable mentions and there is a winner. So we'll go through some of this and then we will end up with the winning video picture. Share screen. Okay, so we'll go through some of the honorable mentions here uh, in the camera category. Then we'll move to phone. Oh, great. So somehow I think this image is, there is a pool of light. The water is like reflecting the light, but it's just, it looks like this child is swimming in a pool of light, and there is a angelic quality about it. And also, like, lately I've been into Christopher Anderson's images, his images about his son and his daughter. So some of this kind of readily spoke to me, and that's why it's one of the honorable mentions here I would like to bring. So great work, Piyush. Similarly, in a fantasy, meaning this is somebody's, I don't know whether it's this child or somebody's child who's just playing around, but this whole painterly kind of one feeling is what I quite liked. And similarly, following up to that, I found this image very fascinating. Although this is not a strict, portraiture, because we don't know who this person is, but this could be a person, and then when you put that person in context, then it works as a portrait image. And a sea of foam, and somebody's like just rising about. It's a certain superhero quality to it, a fantasy quality to it. At the same time, this is it's in the section where documentary meets fantasy, and I quite like this image, and I'd seen it through in some social media as well lately. So I've kind of liked this for the same reason that I like the first image. It's and the colors work so beautiful, and this silhouetted image is just perfect. Um, Keeping with the drama of things, then this image by Harishankar, I'm just gonna from Trivandrum, is such a beautiful image of person underwater. Somehow all the first three images have water in some way. Um, and he's like an animal, he's like a crocodile, or he's like a flower, something that is in this environment, just like standing out, and the human being and the environment, like the first two images. This also is a great image. Wherever you put this, people are going to notice this, and wherever you're going to see, you're going to make a connection, and that's the reason why I kind of like this one. Next one, moving to Arun Kumar, Perambalur. This I remember seeing it somewhere, similar images. And every year they go to a festival and take a lot of images, but some images really stand out. Again, for its quality of, a lot of this, I've seen images facing the camera and posing for it. So I've always felt like that's a little bit too much, like, to handle. But this one is a shot, this is not, the subject is not facing, and this whole fan of hands in silhouetted, it's like a graphic drawing, and I just really like that kind of a image. That's what I try to also get in my work. That's the reason Arun Kumar is here, and it's a great image. This Hunar Daga, this is a sculpture-like image, very strong, a woman, nature. It's like the third image where the face is coming out of the water, like that. I felt this image is standing strong, quite a strong image. I usually see all these images and they close down, and after 1 or 2 days I see it again, then I close down. Then some images will just stand out, and these images stood out for me. So I feel like also the shadow of the leaves falling makes a great juxtaposition. And so these kind of layering, there is always a veil, and there is already a veil, and there is like a leaf shadow, and then all we see is an expression. There's eyes which is catching the light. So something very beautiful about this. And this could be a near and dear one. This could be a celebrity. This could be a woman who's iconic. Like, we can put any context to it and it will work. And that's something I quite like. This image is slightly notorious for its content. But this is a reality. We see kids doing these things, and traditionally, like a lot of street documentary photographers have taken images that is kind of reflective of what is happening, going beyond or whether it's clinically satisfying or whether it's safe to put this out, kind of a thing. But this is a image. I think it's accidentally double exposed because the flash is come later, or maybe it's incidentally shot like this. We don't know that, but there is a double personality of these kids, a triple personality of the kids. There is like a shadow, and there is like the multiple image that's happening. Plus the kids are like smoking, and they have religious things around, and they're very young, and it's like a fun image. At the same time, it's a street image, it's a hardcore image, and it's photographically, it's also like, because of the method that's used to capture I quite like. It's quite striking. It's another image that stands out for me. Congratulations, Sanket. Chinmoy's image from Kolkata. This we see a lot of these, like the way, like, even I've done like predictable stuff with mirrors and magnifying glasses, but this suddenly grabs your eye, and it's that I think the frame of the body and the eye just standing out. It's like a drawing, and the lighting is perfect, which highlights just like a part of the person's self, and so that this kind of graphic quality always, like, wherever you employ it, it works, and therefore it kind of stands out for me. Like the way the smoking kids, this Anagha Pravin from Mumbai, this image of this kid, this guy with snake, and the way with confidence, and his t-shirt, that's again, it's got some, we don't know whether it's a sickle or whether it's like a dragon, and his tattoo, his watch, his ring, his ear stud, his tattoo on the star, and again snake. So it just complete a picture, and I like the negative space on top, so that it kind of gives you time to go into the image and see what's kind of happening. So I quite like this image too. From here, a kind of a contrast, a very soft image of a woman drinking tea. I don't know whether it's a wedding dress or a traditional, something is happening there. It could be the morning before the wedding, or it could be a moment of contemplation. And with all this beautiful props, and I don't know if it's traditional attire or something is built over it, on top of it. But this kind of culturally, and this is like a beautiful face. Her cheeks are rose and pink, and her sweater inside is pink, and there's flowers. It's like, I quite like that kind of a painting kind of feel, and I readily kind of thought this should be featured here. Sanet's image, a lot of entries from Kolkata, I just see here, yeah. And again, this is like, of course, this is like an image, could have been a regular image, but because of the star and because of the movement and a woman in this traditional clothes, kind of, I think lately, like we are looking at a lot of transformation happening in these areas, and that kind of, this kind of for me captures something that is fluid, yet very strong. This woman has got great, like, strong eyes, and this whole blur still somehow captures just the eye, the gaze, and the star. And therefore, I feel like it's like a painting and drawing and something like that. This obviously would have happened out of an accident, but that's the best thing about photography, because otherwise what you see in the eye and what you see in the camera will be very same. But some of these things kind of pushes it to acquire a position of fantasy and a position of story and something like that. It just moves beyond your own self, and it releases yourself from the image that you're seeing, and it forms a new one. So that's interesting. And the same line, there's an image from Suchit from Mysore. It's an image I initially missed out because I didn't really see what was happening. Then I realized there is a car, and there is the window, and there is a human being. There is a glass on that human being. There's a specs, and then that's reflecting, and there is a tree, and it's just a very beautiful juxtaposition. Uh, I don't know if it's a double exposure or a single shot. Mostly a single shot looks like.
No, it's a
But
double
this
exposure.
double exposure,
Yeah.
yeah. But it's a yeah, more than being cleverly done, it's more humanly done. It's got the texture to it. Uh, so therefore, it's like, in a book cover, if you put it, then it's a story about a contemplative kind of a structure. It could be about climate, it could be about water, it could be about the person and human issues, or whatever it is. So it kind of gives you a window to interpret your story. A lot of these images, that's another thing, that they're not like a single. mm, uh, there's just not like a single dimension to it. There's always a multiple dimension to it. Uh, so I like this image too. That's another honorable mention. This is like a very simple thing, because we mentioned also portraits about near and dear. There's like a mother with a child, and something very endearing about this image. And also the colors work so beautiful, and the child is outside, but it's inside, but in the frame, in the envelope of the mother's clothes and on her stomach. So it's like and her expression is of calm and beauty, and so it's like such a memorable image. So I think these are some things that we're looking at. We don't have to do extraordinarily like complicated images. Something like very simple also like helps in just creating memorable stuff. And again, the use of black and white here is really justifying the whole concept. That leads us to the. Are we giving the winning image here, or we?
Yeah,
For
you
the
can
camera
mention.
Yeah. Okay. And that brings us to Abhilash's image, Trivandrum. Congratulations. This, I think, like there was some 2-3 images similar, which got shortlisted, and I saw many of his work itself in the same subject that he's worked. First of all, we also like showed some of the images in the Vogue Korea issue. I think maybe there is some inspiration from there. But what stands out is our context. But this woman has seen life, and she's wearing something really eclectic, very beautiful. Over a day at home, what she's wearing, but over there is a layer of a cape and cape-like thing, and then there is something more. Then there is an apple. I think it's an apple on the head, and that creates such a beautiful vibe. And more to that is the backdrop scenario where there is a lot of pictures of different things, and we don't know whether this is a woman's room or somebody's room. But then this lady, because of how much wrinkles is there on her face and the life that she's lived in the context of all the images behind, and also there is, of course, there is the coolness about it with the fruit on top. So it's like something that is quite extraordinary, I thought. And that's why this among the selection we chose this as the winning entry. Congrats, Abhilash, again. Great work. Any of the other pictures could also become a winner in a different context, but here from all the drama and documentary that we see, this, for me, this goes like just like a step above, a notch above in capturing an enduring story about somebody. And that's why I picked this as the winner. Then we go to the smartphone category. Somewhere there's not much difference between smartphones and cameras. Of course, smartphones you have at hand, so you can really document things that are happening that are like amazing and next to you. And also that sometimes, of course, you need a bigger camera, a DSLR or a film camera, or whatever. But many times to say a simple story, any camera is fine. In that way, cell phone is a great tool. So, so it's great that people have taken nice pictures and continue to do that. Cell phone. Some of the honorable mentions here. Sanket's image from Mumbai, maybe of a couple, and the instrument of the mirror, white, like I said, it's usually we use this instrument, this gimmick or this tool to kind of capture another layer to it. So it's like great. It's like this girl is hugging this picture of this man who's taking this picture. So it's like that way it's layered, and these two frames on top, again, there is a nice connection between that frame, two frames, and there are two frames here. So sometimes these things come together, and this the expression on this lady is very calm, very reassuring, very safe, and it's a beautiful picture. Like whether you made it in a DSLR or a camera or a mini or a cell phone camera, even both ways, it's a great picture. Congrats, Sanket. There's Prerna's picture from her phone. It's just outstanding in terms of its graphicness and the way that she's wearing her turtleneck or a sweater and covering and just revealing her eyes, and also the complemented by the red light that is thrown on her. This is the image that we see in very strong image that we see in revolution, in when people are making a strong statement, offset with this like this dark background and stuff like that. So it's very graphic, and I use this word graphic, I use this word fantasy and painterly, and so this is the kind of parameters that goes inside my head when I'm choosing some images. The next one is Subhasis, again Kolkata. Yeah, it's a double exposure kind of an image, and it reminds us of childhood and the dreams of childhood, and not in a direct way, but in an indirect way, some movies of the yesteryears in black and white from Kolkata, all that. So there is a certain history that comes through it, and the fact that this image of the child has a reflection, and there's another child that has a reflection, and they're not facing here, they're walking away. So that's a nice thing. It's come together well. Congrats. Oh, okay. This is great. I think this is the second image Honourable mentioned from.
Sorry?
This is the same person, right? Like
yeah, same person.
Ah, okay. I'm just noticing it. Yeah. So this is also a beautiful image, and I like the way that now that I see a pattern that the eyes are quite important to this photographer, and so that becomes a powerful tool even here. And the way the circles are arranged for the earring to the eye to the foreground, the jewelry or whatever that is being kept. It's got a nice pattern to it. And sometimes that's all, like, one of the photographers I really admire, Nadav Kandar, he told once in an interview that the eye has to see only a fragment of what the mind can imagine. So sometimes it's just that, little bit is what we need, and our mind can complete the picture. A beautiful image. Next one is, again, we go into Manieesha's image of just like a painting. It's like I have a friend who does charcoal drawings like this. And when I looked at this, it looked like, such a beautiful, tender picture of a woman. Again, this can go into a album cover, book cover, poster, whatever. So it has that legs to run, a window to be open. So I quite liked that image as well. And that brings us to the winner of the cell phone category, which is this image again, Subhasis, Kolkata. And this image is, of course, if it had come in camera category, we would have thought a little bit more because there are other parameters. But here, the instantaneous, spontaneous reaction to something that you see becomes also important when you talk about cell phones. So this is a shop that sells and buys, like old stuff, and so then maybe like there is a big mask somewhere, and then somebody's wearing that, and it's like I don't know whether it's a child or an older person, but it's quite funny, this whole picture is, and it's just making fun of the whole scenario. It looks like the excess in our lives, the waste and the recycling and the clutter and all that. It just kind of, for me, it's a satirical yet comical, funny kind of a scenario. And apart from, okay, there is a mask that is interesting, but the whole scenario made it much more rewarding for me to kind of interact with the image. And that's why I think this is the winner in the cell phone category. Congratulations. And I think he's put quite a bit. I think I've seen his work before also. So this is the winners from both camera and smartphone, and congratulations to you both and to all the others who are in the family of portrait photographers and in the portrait category. All of you have done like such wonderful work. I'm including the pictures of those who have not been featured. I saw a lot of images, but those could, maybe better represented in a street photography contest or some other things. And then when I see like similar images, then that becomes a category. Then we have to take a standout image from that. So therefore, some of those other entries kind of got shelved. But everything in this picture, in this presentation that we put together, is something that I would love to make and keep. And I'm very happy that I was part of this.
Do you have any word of advice for all of the contestants?
I think they should continue exploring themselves through their art and explore their art through themselves. It's sometimes the tool that we choose to do something. It could be cooking, or it could be photography, or drawing, or medicine, or whatever. But the tool comes to us as a gift, and the gift is ultimately something that connects you with your source of the universe. And while it sounds technical and a bit, up in the air, but it's how we make our lives more interesting and worthwhile, and also like this is the only way that we can add something back to the world. So if you like photography, there is a reason. Of course, like partly it's a commercial activity, partly it's a leisure activity. But there is a reason why that calls out to you, and there is a reason why you want to be drawn to images that are like different and images that you want to create. And unless you go there and do it, it's not going to happen. So of course, wait for contests and then always participate. Find what is the theme and then create images for it. Then you write down from in a book what are the things that inspires. Put a collection of images that inspires you. Look at it. Look around you, near and dear ones and family and friends and issues that concerns you directly, and then see how you can interpret that. Like if you are longing for documentary, then do it documentary way. But if you're doing it in a fantasy way, then try it, because all the stories are just waiting to be seen. And in the exploration of that, one understands the truth about themselves and the truth about the world and stuff like that. And this is a great pursuit, and it's a great journey, and I wish everyone all the best.